Who has awoken me from my eternal slumber? Who dares to disturb the almighty king who once ruled over? Oh, of course. It's you. It's always you. I should have seen this coming. I was a fool to believe I would never have to face you again. Now why should I be thanking you, darling? Is it because you finally freed me from captivity? Because you feel like my knight in shining armor? A savior? Tell me, are you proud of this? You're quite a nuisance. I settled on the perfect plan to regain control of this realm many, many years ago. However, I didn't consider the possibility that the ones responsible for my situation was still walking this ungrateful planet. Yet here you are, standing before me, looking barely a day older. Vengeance was not on my itinerary. At any rate, now shoo, get out of my face before I devise the perfect plan for your penalty. Go on, before I change my mind. It's not every day I give a head start to my enemies. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've much to do. Oh, what is it now? Can't you see that I've had enough of this conversation? Papers? You mean like a certificate of birth? I see. Well, if you already went through the effort of obtaining them, they may be of some use to me. After all, blending in and acclimating to this new age is part of my plan. Hand them to me. County of Midnight's Gate hereby recognizes the life, birth of... Wait, you renamed me? Me! King ALDRIC the Fearsome, slayer of 1 billion souls, fright of the southern coast, conqueror of 1,000 nations. No titles, not a single mention of my accomplishments. Did you suffer an injury to your pretty little head while I was forced to rot in this hellhole? Did you forget the battles I have fought, the lands I conquered, the continents that called me their king? Need I remind you that you were ruling by my side, my dear? This joke of a name will simply not do. You must be out of your mind. Oh, is it now? Contemporary, A disgrace, I say. I do not care for a modern name. I will not be mistaken for a commoner. I am King ALDRIC of the Mainlands. I demand a new certificate. All the better. I shall prove my existence with other means when the time arises. With a well-placed thrust of a sword, perhaps. I was trying to leave before you so rudely interrupted me. I trust you will no longer stand in my path. I have changed my mind. I will stay in this hall of stone for a little longer, just to humor you. After all, I'm sure you were just yearning to talk to someone of my stature. If you went through the great effort to acquire the magic spells needed to break my seal. Trivial knowledge, my dear. Don't be fooled. Any mage could have done this. And any other mage would have chosen a more appropriate time. How do you expect me to traverse the mountains of Midnight's Gate by foot at this time of year? Come with you. You. Darling, don't be mistaken. Don't you think for a second that I've forgotten what you've done. How could you dare to think that I'll resume life with you as though nothing happened? You can count yourself lucky this little respite has taken the edge off my powers. Otherwise I might just return the favor. You blame me for being sealed here for eternity. Me! This was your doing. You were the one that betrayed me while I was out there securing our status, expanding our domain. You condemned me. You decided my fate while I was in the northern plains tending to my subjects. Did you even consider for a moment that I was doing all this for you? That I had my reasons? No. You had to decide to save the world, to rid yourself of your own husband. Let me ask you, do you know what they called me up north, where darkness held reign for as long as the people could remember? For as long as even I could remember. ALDRIC, the bringer of light, they said. King ALDRIC, who could free us from this eternal darkness. They begged for my help. They longed for light, would give up anything they had for a spark of golden glimmer, even their throne, especially their throne. I shed no blood the day I took their crown. The hopeful crowd cheered to me, chanting, "Bring the light!" And I brought the light. I did. I'm a man of my word, and we had made a deal. How should I have known they wouldn't like my methods? What did they expect I'd do? Shatter the moon that drenches the northern plains in perpetual night? Solidify a star out of thin air with nothing but my willpower to fuel it? Preposterous. What naive creatures live in the northern lands? Of course, making night into day comes with a price. More specifically, being a mage comes with a price. Every spell, every incantation takes something in turn. The more powerful the magic, the higher the cost. And whether I liked it or not, the amount of energy I had to sacrifice to bring an end to the everlasting darkness of the north slowly took my eyesight. So I did what had to be done. The people wanted the light, so I made them pay for it in my place. Use their connection to the supernatural to avoid the consequences, to regain what I had lost. I don't feel remorse for the fact it turned them insane. The magic within them was rough, untouched. Most of them had never enjoyed any sort of training in the art of magic, so they were unable to keep up with what their precious light demanded. Their minds withered and their cheer soon faded. But the snow had melted and their crops were growing. I had kept my end of the bargain. Nations have endured worse under my scepter, and yet you never seem to take any offense to it. From the highest mountain to the deepest valley, the mainlands trembled when they heard my name. Perhaps you turned a blind eye to it. Or possibly you were blissfully unaware. After all, we were young back then, naive. Or perhaps I was the one who was naive, unaware of the potential within you. After all, you're still alive. If I hadn't held your youth against you, I could have possibly turned you into being more powerful than even I am. But it doesn't matter now, does it? Not after the pain you made me endure. To see my precious little darling turned against me. To see you among my enemies as you conspired with the nations of the South to bring me to my knees. To realize you betrayed me. You were the last thing I saw before my existence became nothing but my conscience, trapped within itself. And your face is the first I had to encounter today. I suggest you take your leave. However, I wouldn't get too comfortable if I were you. For now, I am sure that I will be the last person you lay your eyes on the day you finally perish. The day I regain my strength will be the day you lose yours. Goodbye, darling, for now.